Add and subtract several integers. Oliver's pulse tracker has recorded that his pulse was at 64 when he was sleeping. Then his pulse raised 58 units or beats when he was exercising before it dropped down 23 units while he was at work. And then at the end of the day, his pulse dropped another 10 beats. What was Oliver's pulse at the end of the day? So to do this, let's write this all out. We start at 64 beats. Then we are raised to 50 more beats higher. But then it dropped down 23. So we go minus 23. And then there's another drop of 10. So minus 10. So let's do this. So we're going to work left to right. So we have 64 plus 58. So we can do this off to the side. 64 plus 58. 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus the 5 is 12. So we have 122. So this number is now replaced by 122 minus 23 minus 10. So let's look at the next one. So we have 122 minus 23. So 2 minus 3 cannot occur. So we will have to borrow. And we know we're going to have to borrow because we can change this to 1 and then put the 1 in the 1 spot. So now we have 12 ones. So 12 minus 3 is 9. Now we have 1 minus 2, which can't happen. So we change the hundreds to a 0. So as we borrow the 100 and we put that in the 10 spot. So we have 11 minus 2, which is 99. So now we have 99 minus 10. And so 99 minus 10, we're just going down a whole 10 is 89. So he has a pulse of 89 at the end of the day. So let's move on to another example, but just with numbers. So example 2, we have negative 5 plus negative 1 minus negative 5 minus 3 plus 7. So in this, we can see there's several sets of double signs. So we must address this before we can solve the problem. So between the numbers 5 and 1, there's a positive and a negative sign. When there's two different signs, you turn it into a negative. So between the 1 and the 5, there are two negative symbols. Those negative symbols are 2. So that becomes positive. So let's rewrite this whole problem. We have negative 5. This becomes minus 1. This becomes plus 5 minus 3 plus 7. So now we've rewritten our problem. We can now begin to start adding and subtracting. So when we do the first numbers, negative 5 minus 1, it becomes negative 6. So we have negative 6 plus 5 minus 3 plus 7. So now this negative 6 plus 5, which then becomes negative 1. So negative 1 minus 3 plus 7. So now we can look at these next two numbers. So negative 1 minus 3 is also equal to negative 4. And we're just going to keep that plus 7. So now we will do this final problem. So we have 7 minus 4. So that is positive 3. This is our solution. Now let's do another vital sign problem together. Phoebe has been tracking her systolic blood pressure over a couple of months. In her first month, her blood pressure dropped by 10 points, but in the next month, it rose by 17 points. In the third month, her blood pressure tracker stated that it had dropped down by -5 points. What was the total change in Phoebe's blood pressure over the 3 months? So, to do this, we will write out the numbers. So we have -10 because it dropped 10 points. Then it rose 17 points. So we'll just add a positive 17 there. And then in the 3rd month, it had dropped by -5 points. So now we have a minus 5. So let's begin to look at these problems. So we have to address this first before we start adding and subtracting. So we have -10 plus 17, but as we have 2 negative signs, it becomes positive. So we have -10 plus 17, so this will give us plus 7. Then we'll bring down that plus 5, and we'll do this final addition, which is 7 plus 5, which is equal to 12. So we will say that Phoebe's systolic blood pressure rose by 12 points over the last 3 months. Now remember, when adding and subtracting many integers, we always look for double signs and change them to one sign. Then we can work from left to right.